Alright, what's going on, y'all? So, why this shit so goddamn close, boy? Back up, back up, back up. I forgot where I got it from. But anyway, this is your boy Bruce Leroy. Now, just real quick, I don't gotta give a fuck. You already know. If y'all been watching me for like the last couple of weeks, I already whatever. But here's the thing: the reason why I'm just kind of just throwing that shit out there, the reason why I haven't streamed like a couple weeks, because I've been kind of like all over the place with shit. So, I know I told y'all next time we was gonna stream, we was gonna do the Cameron Suzanne reactions and the piano. We're gonna do that this upcoming week. That is a promise. That I could promise you wholeheartedly. That is a promise. And then also, I just need to get my shit together as far as like streaming consistent. I think I could maybe, I'd say give or take the last 2 days. Saturday, I definitely could have did one. I could have done one yesterday. I'll do a little better when it comes to that. Moving forward, that's the plan for the week. All right, for those, again, once again, it's your boy Bruce Leroy. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. TikTok is Bruce Leroy BIH. Follow me here on this Twitch at I'm Bruce Leroy BIH. Follow me on, what the fuck? I'm already fucking up already. We just goddamn started. Twitter and Instagram is at I am Bruce Leroy. TikTok is Bruce Leroy BIH. Follow me here on this stream on Twitch at I'm Bruce Leroy BIH. I don't know why the fuck that took so long. So basically, I'm going to basically conclude my thoughts about the AJ Brown situation, and it's going to be one or two sentences, and then we need to move forward. So first off, congratulations to the New York Knickerbockers. I think Stephen A. said Knickerbockers or some shit like that. But anyway, here's the thing, okay? So, there's a couple things I want to speak on before we get started, okay? The first thing and it's, maybe it's a little serious. So the first thing, let's wrap up the AJ Brown thing, okay? Because I'm really, unless it's something like really crazy like how I was damn near the last time I streamed, I'm not talking about AJ Brown no more. It's just, at the end of the day, best of luck to him in New England. Hope he ball out over there. But I ain't gonna lie, I had to unfollow AJ Brown. And it's not because of necessarily the rumors per se. It's like really a combination of a few things. It's not just the rumors. I didn't unfollow AJ Brown. Like, first off, I still respect AJ Brown as a player. And I do think he flawed just like the rest of us, but I do think he's a good person. You know what I mean? I just think that he, whatever with this situation that transpired, if all that's alleged is true, he got some. Like, I pretty much spoke about how I really felt about the AJ Brown situation on the day of the stream. My feelings hasn't really changed overall to that, but I have to be honest with you. I have to put AJ Brown. Y'all know how I talked about Deebo Samuel, right? Deebo Samuel, for those that don't know, was at one point in time my favorite wide receiver in the league. Talk shit about the Eagles one time, okay, he's a rival. The playing against somebody, of course, he's not on my team, all right. Second time, all right. The third time, all right, nah, that's dead. I put AJ now in that category, and here's the reason why. Like, the biggest thing is not really about the rumors so much, it's about how he exited. How he exited bothered the shit out of me. It's like, you think with all the success that you've had, number one, and I before everything blew out of proportion, I said this. I might have been a little bit late. It was like maybe a week or two after this. No, I think it was right after the Super Bowl. So I spoke about how AJ Brown should have faced the music after that 49er game, okay? Then he was talking to everybody, so he said, yeah, I'm being Philly, whatever, and I'm like, you just flat out lied to the kids? Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't get it. Like, you knew you was not going to be in Philadelphia after and you just, I felt like he lied to them damn kids. But that's not really it. I'm trying to put this together in a concise manner, because right now my thoughts are all over. But try to put what I'm trying to say in a concise manner so it makes sense. Because it's kind of not making sense. Right now I feel like I'm just kind of darting all over the place. His exit bothered me. The exit. That really is why I'm putting. I respect AJ Brown as a person and as a player. Wish him the best of luck, but I put AJ Brown in the same category as how I feel about Deebo Samuel because of how it ended. You never took accountability and owned up to you not playing well in that NFC Championship game, and in combination with what's been alleged, which I think. My opinion does not really matter. I think there's some truth to it. How much of it, I don't know, but I do think there's some truth to those rumors. Not all, maybe not all of them, but there's some truth to some of them, at least some of them. So you combine with how you exited. So, you would talk about holding guys accountable, but you never held yourself accountable for your shortcomings. You ran. So you was willing to put everybody else on blast, which at that time, despite the fact Eagles fans had a problem with it, so did Seth Joyner, so did some of the other people that were retired from the game that were closely connected with the Eagles, they had a problem with you doing this. I did not. I thought that, hey, the way I looked at it is, okay, maybe you are trying to say something to the quarterback. Maybe you are trying to say something to Sirianni and the coaches, and they're not getting it done. So in your head, you're like, fuck it. I got to go to the media because now they can't run from this issue, right? And I understood your perspective. Your perspective was like, okay, we keep talking about playing to the standard. But every week, we're not playing to the standard. So why the fuck am I just going to just sit up there? No, I have to say something. Now I have to force the issue. Now I'm going to make you confront the situation because now the press is going to ask you about this shit. They're going to badger you about it just because I brought it up. So I didn't have a problem with it at the time. But I do think that, like, you hold the mirror to everybody else, but you never held the mirror to yourself. And I think while it's cool to call things out, it's also, and Seth Joyner talked a little bit about it. When you wear a C on your chest and they give you the captain, it bears a different type of responsibility. And now, I love Jordan Mailata. I think Jordan Mailata is a cool person from the outside looking in. I also think that despite the fact his last year was not ideal, yes, I understand injuries played a factor, but Jordan Mailata probably had his worst year of his career, like as a full-time starter. Because I know he played rugby. I know he played rugby before, so he had to kind of like took him a while to learn the game. What I'm saying is, as a full-fledged starter, Jordan Mailata had his worst year. He went from being, in my opinion, the best in his position 2 years ago in 24 to being like it was bad, right? And some of that was due to injury. The offensive line was genuinely banged up. Now, with that being said, when you wear a C on your chest, it carries a different responsibility. It carries a different weight. Meaning this, you went out of your way to try to call everybody else out. But when it was time for you to hold yourself accountable, you ran. And then, that's not leadership. That's not why they gave you the C. They gave you the C because you got to maintain stoicism through the peaks and the valleys. Everybody's good with the peaks. But the valleys, it's a different story. But you wear that C on your chest, understanding it and acknowledging that responsibility. So when it was time to take accountability for your shortcomings in the NFC Championship, you refused to hold the mirror to yourself, face the media, and hold yourself accountable for not playing up to the standard that you said the team was not on. You let the team down. You let Jalen Hurts. You let your quarterback down. Whether you did it on purpose or it was just a bad day at the office, you did not play to the standard that you try to say everybody else should. So that means as a leader, when you're wearing the C, as a captain, there's a responsibility. And then the fact that you're leaking shit to the media is like, because here's the thing. I was trying to figure out, did Jeffrey Lurie just talk to, because I never understood. I was like, why would Jeffrey Lurie just talk to A.J. Brown about him going on Janky Rondo's stream or whatever? And I'm like, why does it matter? It was just a one-off thing. I didn't feel like that warranted a deep conversation. Just a one-off thing. He expressed his frustrations. It was light. It was firm, but it was light. I was like, okay, cool, but whatever. You know what I mean? But then, now we're getting to a point where if you're leaking shit to the media, because that's the part that I never got a chance to address because I wasn't even paying attention. I was watching the Joy Taylor interview, Maria Taylor, sorry, and I didn't even peep that he actually was one of the people leaking. At that point now, you're becoming a distraction to the team. You're becoming part of the problem. You think in your head you're solving. No, you're becoming part of the problem because now, instead of you handling things in-house, now look, for us as fans, that's just entertainment. Obviously we're going to be bought into, it's juicy gossip, whatever. That's just human nature. But realistically speaking, when you're a captain, you got to hold yourself to being stoic while shit is good, which that's the easy part, and when shit is not going so hot. And you have responsibility to keep whatever's going on in-house. So, I don't know what stories he leaked. Obviously, I don't think any of us really do. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't. My thing is this is like, and then what pissed me off the most was he was very, listen, I'm sure that he's happy that he's going to the team that he wanted to be a part of since he was a child. It's like a dream come true. Cool. You know what I mean? My thing is, he just didn't give the Eagles fans, he didn't show enough respect, in my honest opinion, given the success. Like, the nigga acted like he was Steve Smith on the Carolina Panthers. And we just gave him shitty quarterback, shitty personnel. Yeah, they got to the Super Bowl a few times. No respect to Julius Peppers, maybe a handful of other people. But he acted like that he was fucking Myles Garrett on the Browns. Like, nigga, you had two 1,400-yard seasons. You had multiple 1,000-yard seasons. At one point in time, you were the best receiver in football for at least 1 of the 2 years you were in the league. You got a ring. You've been in 2 Super Bowls. And then there were fans like myself, and I'm not really trying to make it about me. I know it sounds like it's like, oh, you just make it about how you feel. Yeah, but no. I'm trying to think of it from an objective perspective. Like, you did what you did. You played like shit in the wild card. You never owned up to it, but I let it rock. A lot of people had a problem with you voicing your opinion to the media, to the press. I didn't have a problem with that. You owe us a lot more than giving us your fucking ad. Pause, I'm about to say. I'm going to keep it real with you. A.J. Brown just gave us his ass to kiss. Pause. No diddy. He really just gave us his ass to kiss. And I feel like that was a slap in the face to all the fans. First, I feel like it was a slap in your face to the whole organization because they gave you the long-term bread. You were successful here. You were yes, the valleys were the valleys, but you were overall successful here. Imagine a free agent wide receiver that could say, oh shit, I could have two 1,400-yard, I could have 4,000-yard seasons. 2 1,400-yard seasons, be probably the best receiver in the game for at least a couple years, if we're talking statistics-wise, Two 1,400 yards, a Super Bowl trip lost, but it's still a trip. Some people don't even fucking get there. And two Super Bowl trips, and one of them a victory. You owe the fans and you owe the team a lot more than just giving us your ass to kiss. Even if you are happy that you left, let's just say the rumors that were alleged were true. Even if you are happy that you're going to the team that you love since your childhood, give us a better goodbye than what the fuck you did. Because it was actually I'm gonna keep it a bean. It was disrespectful. It was actually very disrespectful. It was disrespectful to the Eagles organization. And it was also disrespectful to the fans that held you down, despite the fact that many criticized your decisions and some people even questioned your play and your effort. There are fans like me that held you down. So on the account of that, yeah, they're going to be haters. It's going to be motherfuckers that goddamn switched up on you early. Like, it was a time, I think it was 2022, during the Giants game. Him and Sirianni was getting into it on the sidelines. I don't know if he was upset because they pulled him out or whatever. Motherfuckers from that day, and I remember too, shout out to Weapon X. He be having some good ass clips. But let's keep it real. Niggas like him were part of the people that were leading the charge and say, yo, AJ a diva. Like, oh shit, his true colors finally coming out. We done with this nigga. And so there's been motherfuckers that flipped on AJ Brown since that moment. If you remember, it was the wild card game or divisionals, I don't remember when. It was that time in 2022 when we lost the Super Bowl. Bro, niggas from that day forward, and Weapon X, let's keep it real, you was leading the charge on that one, flipped on AJ Brown and say, nah, this nigga a diva, fuck him, like whatever, it's over with. Motherfuckers like me like, hold on, this a one-off situation, right? When you was reading the book on the sideline, let me tell you something right now. Maybe you like to read in your spare time. Cool. But ain't no motherfucking way in the hell, given the context of the situation, that you was reading that goddamn book just to be on a motherfucking Reading Rainbow episode. That's not what your ass, you was not goddamn trying to increase the American literacy rate. Your ass was pissed off. You was frustrated. A quarterback, Sirianni, whatever the combination, I don't know what it was. You read that book. Even N'Kobe Dean was like, I ain't never seen this nigga read the book on the sideline. N'Kobe Dean said that shit. So, your book reading, which I knew for a fact it was bullshit. I knew for a fact you were doing that in defiance to something that you didn't like, whether it was a quarterback play, whether it was a coaching, whether it was a combination of both. However, whatever the truth was, we knew you was reading that goddamn book out of frustration. And then you did a great job marketing the goddamn book and trying to play us like we was fucking stupid. You wasn't reading that goddamn book because you know, what's old boy that be doing I don't remember his name. It's gonna be too much time to take away. I kind of like, we need to really start catching up on shit. But I respect AJ Brown, but as far as like how I used to root for him and like my personal investment, it's like, I'll put it to you like this. Patrick Mahomes is my favorite player of all time. As a football player, he's my favorite player past or present. Devontae Smith's my favorite wide receiver in the league. And no, I'm not saying it because of AJ's departure. Y'all know I've already been there. If you don't fucking believe me, just go watch my other goddamn videos. Other than that, shut the fuck up. Please. And literally, I just told you, before Devontae Smith, it was Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel, even the time we had A.J. Brown in the building, I've always been an A.J. Brown fan ever since he came from Ole Miss. Even from that time, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, like, the exit is what I had a problem with. It's how shit ended. Because you don't have success like that. And the fans that supported you, and then you give us your ass to kiss like that. To me, that's disrespectful and it's selfish. And it tells me a lot about, I don't want to say it tells you a lot about you as a person, but I will say it makes you look really fucking bad. You went on a successful team, had success numbers-wise and accolades, 2 Super Bowl trips, 1 win. You did your bullshit. You played a very bad game. Your last game in Philadelphia, you played like shit. And the most you could give us was a fucking garbage-ass, low-effort, fucking bullshit ChatGPT. And by the way, to acknowledge the thing was, he didn't make it through ChatGPT. That was Joey making fun of the situation. And then I was kind of like, because in the beginning, I was getting on Joe. I'm like, Joey, like, you going too hard on the guy. Like, yo, like, chill out. Like he was great when he was here. And then also to say that you goddamn was the best receiver that came out here. You could have been. You were on your way. But here's the thing. You do not. No, you're not T.O. T.O. is a top 3-4 receiver of all time. You're not a top 3-4 receiver. And most motherfuckers was even hesitant and didn't even want to call you the best receiver in football. Even though I feel like for maybe at least 2 of the years you was here, you were the best receiver in football. And I think you could have been your whole fucking. I think you could have retired at midnight green if you wanted to. Hey, but you know it is what it is. Not all good things are meant to last. So I respect AJ Brown, but it's one of them shits where it's like, bro, go enjoy your time in Patriots. Like, bro, whatever. Like it is what it is. Like I put him in the same category where I put Deebo Samuel. It's just like I don't hate them. Obviously, I have no personal vendetta against either of them, but it's just like. Y'all can go over that, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's just like at the end of the day, it's like I'm not cool with. You gotta respect the fans and respect the organization that puts you in a great position better than what you did. And then you gave the fans and you gave the team a lackluster, dissatisfying performance. Unsatisfied, whatever you want to call it. I don't remember if it's dissatisfying or unsatisfying. I don't fucking care. But you gave us a subpar performance, and you never took accountability for it. And that's the best thing you can give us is a fucking moving ad? A moving ad? A fucking branch off of U-Haul? That was the best you can give the fucking fans? A fucking advertisement? Just disrespectful all the way around. And then to be employed by a team. Be with an organization and have the fucking Patriots rug there the whole fucking time. And I'm not one of those fans that like to trip out about certain shit too much. But I do think it speaks values of me as a person. Like, wait a minute, we giving this nigga money to put on our shit. And this motherfucker got another team on the fucking rug in the man cave. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like at least goddamn, motherfucker, like, at least keep that shit in the closet and bring it out off camera. They don't sit up there and be proud to say, yeah, I had this shit on the rug, on the floor the whole time. That's disrespectful as fuck. I remember when the last time I was on stream, remind me of when 50 Cent got mad at the G Unit because they weren't wearing the sneakers. Like, bro, they paying you a fucking salary. That was so disrespectful. And it's like, yeah, it's his house. I get it. He can do what the fuck he want to do. But I'm just saying, to admit that shit, I had this shit on the floor. He didn't even have to say that. He said, yo, man, I had it. Yeah, I get rid of it for a while. Then I bought a new one. Even if this shit was a lie. At least just lie off the respect. Be like, you know what? Off the truth of like, you know what? I was employed by an organization that wasn't the Patriots. So out of respect for them, you know what I'm saying? But don't sit up there like it's too much, bro. That's all I gotta say. I'm not really saying no more than that because I don't want to say something to go too far, but it is what it is. All right, so the next thing, first off, congratulations to the Knicks for winning. I have not been, I don't know why I said I have not been the same way. I don't know that wasn't even I don't know what the fuck that was. That wasn't even Kitten Williams, nigga. What? Shut your, nigga, that wasn't even Garfield. What the fuck was that? But anyway, moving forward, with that lousy ass impersonation I just did. Congratulations to the New York Knicks for getting a NBA Finals. I would have never thought in my motherfucking lifetime that the Knicks would be back in the NBA Finals, let alone win one. But hell, if Detroit came up, if the goddamn Cubs won a World Series, I think when I was in high school, shit, anything can happen to sports. Maybe the Browns might get into a Super Bowl, hopefully with Shador at the helm. You never know. You never know. So, with that being said, congratulations to the Knicks. Now, from my understanding, from the outside looking in, De'Aaron Fox, and I watched bits and pieces. Again, I haven't been really invested in basketball for like 3 full seasons. As crazy that fucking sounds, because I used to watch basketball just as heavy as I do football. And I could have did both commentaries. I can't do no basketball commentary anymore. I don't know. I really don't know. I know bits and pieces of what's going on, but my basketball knowledge, you rated from 1 to 10, it's about a 3. Like my football, I could talk to you about football until goddamn Monday come. But I can't. But as far as basketball, my knowledge is about a 3. But yeah, man, like, shout out to Jalen Brunson because I always thought he was going to be like a nice, good 6-man, give you 15, 16 a year. Turns to damn near superstar. Got finals MVP and everything. Shout out to Jalen Brunson, bro. Shout out to that whole Knicks organization. Shout out to Mike Brown. Mike Brown, low key, man, I ain't finna hold you, bro. He's been one of the best coaches this league has ever had. I'm talking about, I remember when he was coaching Cleveland. I think he went to a championship with Cleveland. I think he's been a part of the Golden State Warriors for a long time, especially when they were highly successful as an assistant. He turned the Kings organization around, and I think the Kings fired him for no fucking reason. Then he came to the Knicks, and I think in his second year, I think this is his first year. I forgot who they had beforehand. I think in his first year, he got to won a fucking championship. So, man, like, we got to give Mike Brown his flowers. I know a lot of people will talk about Popovich. Popovich is amazing. A lot of people will talk about Phil Jackson, Red Auerbach. We're going to talk about, Pat Riley and all these, Rick Carlisle at one point in time, Eric Spoelstra, what else? Who else? Talk about, Bobby Knight, like all these great basketball coaches. Talk about Coach K, Roy Williams, and I know I'm mixing basketball, the professionals in college. I know that. I'm just talking in general about great coaches. I don't ever hear. I'm going to keep it a B. Mike Brown is basically fulfilled potential of Doc Rivers. I'm not saying that because they both black. I'm saying it because their career trajectory has been very, very similar. Like, they've been through a lot of different organizations, had success kind of everywhere they went, but Doc the way he is, it's like, it's all potential. Outside of catching lightning in a bottle with getting a championship in Boston, everything with him since then has been just like potential. If this was good, and if that was good, and if this need that, and it's like Mike Brown, bro. And by the way, shout out to Mike Malone. Shout out to Mike Budenholzer, 2 guys who should have never been fired. And ever since then, their organizations have gone downward. Ever since they fired them 2 coaches off their organizations, they teams have gone down. The Bucks may never get to a championship with Giannis on there. Giannis gonna have maybe eventually within the next couple years, he gonna have to go somewhere else. He not staying in Milwaukee. Within the next couple of years, he's going to be moved. Maybe with this offseason or the next one, Giannis will no longer be a Buck. I can almost guarantee that. But if you notice how Mike Malone got fired and Budenholzer, those organizations have never been the same. But I have to keep it a bean with you, man. Mike Brown has quietly built out a very, very, very good coaching resume in the NBA. And I don't know why motherfuckers don't talk about him or give him his credit. They need to. He been to the championship with Cleveland. He's won a lot as an assistant with the Warriors. And ever since low-key he left, the Warriors really ain't been the same. He went to the Kings. Turned their organization around. They fired his ass like quickly. You know what I'm saying? And then he went to the Knicks, and I think he got a chip in his first year being there. So we don't talk about how great of a coach Mike Brown is. Mike Brown is a fucking hell of a coach, bro. Hell of a coach. And I hope they give him his flowers. You know what I'm saying? Like I really do, because he a good ass coach. That's all I gotta say. That's not really the most formal way of cleaning that shit up, but he a hell of a coach, bro. From the outside looking in, De'Aaron Fox did not do enough, in my opinion. I saw a bunch of guys that I didn't even know the fucking names of that was getting more buckets. Because I watched the highlights of like the last game, I saw other guys producing way more than I saw De'Aaron Fox. I saw De'Aaron Fox miss a lot of shots. He did make some bonehead mistakes, which really, I'm going to be honest with you, as an NBA, mistakes are going to happen. But I think as an NBA vet, he's been around the block a few times. He's been through the peaks and valleys. Nothing too crazy yet as far, like this is his most successful, by far this is his most successful year as far as him getting to the NBA Finals. He's never really gotten this far, okay? He's always been stuck with losing teams being on the Kings. I don't know what the fuck happened between the Kings all the way up until now, but this nigga done lost his. In the regular season, he probably did good. I'm not gonna check the stats, so we ain't got time for that. But, bro, what the fuck? But yeah, so congratulations to the Knicks. The second thing I saw is Victor Wembanyama can shoot threes, and I think y'all glazing him a little bit much. KD knew how to did what he did at elite levels and went to the championship twice, and honestly got overhated for some shit that motherfuckers try to copy the blueprint to. They just were not successful. He was. Because KD is so great at what he does. He know how to play without ego. Like he know how to dominate when it's time for him to take over. But in the same breath, he also know how to, he don't hurt the team. He play efficient. He a 50, 40, 90 guy every year. He know how to play efficient. And he can score from all three areas of the floor. For all three levels, he can score. But he don't hurt the team. He could be a 50, 40, 90 guy, score on all three levels, but he can dominate without hurting your team. He don't shoot you out of a game. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what I love about Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant know how to move without the basketball. He don't need the basketball in his hand. You feel what I'm saying? So I think KD was always overhated for the Golden State shit, and I'm like, bruh, like, two people were overhated for the career moves. I think KD was overhated, and I think LeBron joining the Heat was extremely, like, overhated. And people don't understand. Do you honestly think if Jordan and fucking Dennis Rodman, a top 3-ish defender of all time, best rebounder of all time, doesn't actually get on that team? And then they had Tony Kukoc coming off the bench. They had Steve Kerr. They had some legitimate Ron Harper. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, Jordan's still Jordan. To me, he's still the greatest basketball player of all time. But it's like you get mad at LeBron when what's the name? Goddamn. Dennis Rodman, Pippen, and Jordan had their own little big three collective in a sense with the bench that the Miami had, because Miami had Chalmers. I think Chalmers was a starter. They had Chalmers. Who else? Who else came off the bench? Did really well. Birdman got his buckets from time to time. Shane Battier was outstanding for them. They brought in Ray Allen like towards the latter end of that little Heat run with LeBron. But, like, bro, it's like damn near the same shit. You know what I'm saying? But, like, you know, it is what it is with that. It's not take they went from Jordan's greatness, but, like, you basically get mad at what the fuck Jordan did by bringing Rodman. Like, it's not that different. Only difference is Rodman may not have been, like, a proficient scorer like that, but he's one of the greatest defenders of all time and also the greatest rebounder of all time. So it's just, like, it makes a difference. What else? Sound like Adam Killer, a damn killer. What else? I'm walking this down. That's minute. By the way, real quickly, I want to just spell something real quick. So first off, shout out to the Knicks. But here's the thing, right on my NBA point. Victor Wembanyama shoots too many goddamn threes. And it's not like he can't hit them, but he can't hit them efficiently like KD can. And everybody's acting like that motherfucking Anthony Davis was doing the same shit. Anthony Davis was more efficient. Let me just say right now, and people ain't gonna like what the fuck I'm gonna say, and I don't give a fuck. Anthony Davis, if we taking injuries out, he's the greatest power forward of all time. If we taking injuries out, he's the greatest power forward of all time. Think about the hype that he got coming into the league, coming from Kentucky. Think about that hype. Came in the league, really moved the game forward because he could dribble the ball, he could shoot, he can get inside, he can score from all three levels. He was a great defender, great shot blocker. Everything Victor Wembanyama doing, Anthony Davis was doing the same shit. And could play the 4 and the 5. And could run pick and roll like a point guard. And was a better outside shooter than Victor Wembanyama and more efficient. I'll tell you right now, AD gets so much disrespect when really he has met and low-key exceeded expectations. He just never really got to his full potential because he's always injured. But I'm telling you right now, Ed Davis was doing everything fucking Wembanyama's doing, just more efficiently and less pieces around him. And not always in the most ideal coaching situations. When goddamn DeMarcus Cousins came on, it was low-key a little too late. And on top of that, Cousins also had his own injury history too. Cousins was also a bad motherfucker too. Let's not get that fucked up. But fucking Anthony Davis doing what Wembanyama's doing. And Kevin Durant did it. Nowitzki was the best player on the team, led his team to the finals, you know what I'm saying, and eventually got a ring. Like, we're so ready to crown motherfucker. And don't get me wrong, Victor Wembanyama is great. I watched this guy, and he got the spirit of, like, the old school centers, but he got what everybody else is doing. And I truly think, as crazy as it sounds, and yes, I think Embiid's talented, but he get injured way too fucking much, and he just disappeared. I think he did better this year, but I just think in general, Embiid's like the Dak Prescott of the NBA. It's like you look at Dak Prescott, it's like, okay, it's not really a glaring weakness. Like, he don't turn the ball over that much. He can be accurate with the football. He's solid at throwing on the run. He has just enough mobility so you have to kind of consider it a threat. He can throw the deep ball. Like, you look at Dak Prescott on the surface. That's all by his side as an Eagles fan. You look at Dak Prescott on the surface, you be like, this guy don't really have weakness to his game. And then you kind of just look at it. It's like, okay, they missing that second gear. You know what I'm saying? Second gear for me to put them in a conversation with Josh Allen. And even though I think it's sometimes Josh Allen is the most overrated player in the NFL. It's not because he isn't a great quarterback. He is. But I think we're giving him a crown to some shit he didn't deserve. And I have some theories why. And a lot of them have to do with the sport that NASCAR is in, if you catch my drift. what do you call NASCAR? What are the cars doing with each other? Because I don't understand for the life of me. And this is why you will reinforce that point I'm making right now. Mahomes, niggas acting like he fell off when really what the fuck you expect him to do when his receivers are in and out the lineup, some of them due to legal trouble, some of them due to injury. When they come back on, they're not really performing that great. Kelsey, Father Time is catching up. Offensive line ain't really that good. I mean, like the offensive line not good. Like it's not good enough for long-term sustainable success. It's not good enough. The Chiefs' O-line is tolerable, and I'll be honest. Mahomes has never really had a great O-line. He's had some solid guys at the O-line, but he's never had a great fucking O-line. I'm so sorry. He's never had a great fucking O-line the way Detroit got it, the way we used to have it. We'll see what happens this year. You know what I mean? The way we used to have it, the way goddamn motherfucking the Rams with Jared Goff has it. Like, bro, the way that even Chicago even said that, you know, Chicago notorious for they offensive linemen not really being too good. Chicago stepped with their game and actually became one of the best offensive lines. So did the Broncos. Broncos not necessarily notorious for their offensive linemen. They stepped up. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Leonard Franklin Jr. He was good when he was a Bronco. I'm just saying. Like, Denver's not known for a great offensive line. Neither was, you know what I'm saying? But they stepped up. But Mahomes never had a great offensive line. And then you expect him to basically fucking drag third, fourth string wide receivers. The only person that was doing that was Tom Brady. And by the way, Mahomes proved he could do that already, but that model of football is not sustainable. Playing with a O-line that are they really even average? One motherfucker is so bad at his technique, the nigga gotta jump off sides every motherfucking time he get off the line. The nigga, Jawaan Taylor, is jumping out of motherfucking, goddamn off sides every motherfucking time the play is hiked. Niggas wanted to bitch about the motherfucking tush push. Niggas was, I heard fucking crickets when goddamn Jawaan Taylor keep jumping off sides every motherfucking time. This nigga keep false starting every fucking time the goddamn play is snap. I hear fucking crickets, nigga. I goddamn hear somebody drop their motherfucking pen on the ground. I guess somebody forgot to sign autographs. It might be a celebrity, this motherfucker. Which one is it? Justin Bieber or goddamn Jesse McCarthy? You know what I'm saying? Like, dude. So, it sounds crazy on the surface. I know. I get it. And Mahomes your favorite player, of course. But no, hear me out for a second. Mahomes was this how his career trajectory started. His first year starting, he's in the AFC Championship. And he really loses that, not really on the fault of anything that he did. He goes to Super Bowl, win one. He went to like fucking 4 or 5 straight Super Bowls and either won them or lost them. The only motherfucker that kept going to Super Bowls back to back like that was Tom fucking Brady. Okay? In a row, and he proved he could get back to the game and win the motherfucker without Tyreek Hill playing. But y'all didn't want to give him his acknowledgement, even though it's not fair to him because at least a receiver should have one wide receiver they can throw that motherfucker up there too, and they gonna catch it every time. Mahomes hasn't had that in like fucking 3-4 years, and Rashee Rice was very close to it until he started doing some bullshit off the field. You know what I'm saying? Xavier Worthy, he's young, but I need to see a little bit more. I heard he's doing good in training camp, but I'm just saying. So, this is my honest opinion. If Mahomes was Josh Allen's, this wouldn't even be a fucking conversation. We wouldn't be talking about he didn't fall off. How the fuck can you expect somebody who offensive line is not really average? I mean, they barely like, my hands pink, my goddamn shit. It's like I slapped the shit out of somebody. But yeah, my point is this, bro. You have The only person who's had Mahomes' level of success is Tom Brady. And to give Mahomes a little bit of a pass, Mahomes started off his career. I mean, he always had Chris Jones. There's some good players, but Alex Smith's defenses were the Chiefs' defenses are better now. Maybe not as much last year, but I say the last 3-4 seasons, the Chiefs defenses are a lot better. And it definitely helps that they have a defensive coordinator that isn't going anywhere. So NFL, take notes. But I look at it like this, bro. The only person who's had the success that Mahomes has had. Mahomes don't have to actually play football ever in his fucking life ever again. He's still going to be a Hall of Famer. And I think he still would be in the conversation of being, okay, is he the greatest quarterback of all time? You motherfuckers is like putting Peyton Manning over him. You're putting Aaron Rodgers over him. And I'm like, these motherfuckers didn't have the success. Maybe Elway to an extent. But they didn't have the success that motherfucking Mahomes has had. The only person who's had Mahomes' success early was fucking Tom Brady. And, you know, Tom Brady's great, don't get me wrong, all bias aside to Mahomes being my favorite player of all time. Brady has benefited from probably having the best defensive mind of all time in Bill Belichick. And always having not okay defenses, great defenses behind him. And Brady was a late bloomer. He didn't come in swinging like motherfucking Mahomes did. When Mahomes came in the fucking league, that nigga came out swinging. Knocking everybody. That nigga came in like motherfucking Mike Tyson. 19-year-old Mike Tyson knocking grown-ass men on their ass. That was Mahomes when he first got to the league. But it's funny how the conversation changes because you can't get away with not having a good run game. You can't get away with having a not good enough offensive line. You can't get away with your receivers being in and out the lineup, and some of them niggas that's starting will be fucking third, fourth stringers on other teams. They won't even be on the fucking first two on the depth chart. So you niggas is up here goddamn talking shit about Mahomes when the only person who's had Mahomes' success and maybe a little bit better than was Brady. And again, Brady ass got saved by Adam Vinatieri. Brady did not become Brady until about 05, 06. I would even say 2006. 2006, I feel like Brady kind of understood the game at a high level. He was getting used to it. He finally came into being a dominant player. But Brady was not a fucking... He didn't come out swinging like Mahomes. Sorry. Peyton Manning is an all-time great quarterback. You have him outside of your top 5. You don't know shit about football. But Peyton Manning, he was highly touted at college, but he bloomed a little late. The nigga was on the way to becoming a bust. He wasn't good in the beginning. It took him. He wasn't Ryan Leaf bad, but he wasn't that good at the beginning. It took him a minute. So, and then Aaron Rodgers, I don't know anything that Aaron Rodgers can personally do that Mahomes can. Mahomes can make every fucking throw on the field. Niggas start doing sidearm throws because of fucking Mahomes. Niggas start doing no-lookers because of Patrick Mahomes. What the fuck are we talking about? And you can argue that Stafford maybe, but no. I'm talking about like full-time niggas started being fancy with their passes because of Patrick motherfucking Mahomes. What the fuck are we talking about? So I'm sick of niggas trying to disrespect Mahomes, and it's not because he's my favorite player of all time. You just gotta think of it from an objective point of view. The only motherfucker who's had Mahomes' success or is even comparable to it is Tom fucking Brady. That tells you something. That's the only nigga, let me tell you right now, fuck whatever Lamar Jackson got going on. Respect to him. Fuck whatever he got going on. Josh Allen and motherfucking Lamar Jackson got to catch up to fucking Mahomes. They behind. Mahomes is a guaranteed Hall of Fame when it's all like he can retire. Mahomes don't have to play another fucking down of football ever in his life. Ever in his fucking life. Would you keep, as great as Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson are, especially as talent, can you really say from the bottom of your heart these guys are guaranteed Hall of Famers? Can you really say from the bottom of your heart they're guaranteed to at least be in the top? I think Mahomes is top 5, and I don't even think he's 4 or 5. I don't think he's 3. I think it's Brady, Mahomes, and then whoever the fuck else you want to put in there. That's it. Everyone said, well, Joe Montana. First off, Mahomes has more talent than Joe Montana. Not only does he have more talent, Jerry Rice the greatest fucking receiver to ever play football. Now, as I disrespect Montana, he was great. He had the best wide receiver in football. You remember the Chiefs running backs like that? Under Mahomes' era? Nah, really. Imagine you get motherfucking Mahomes, Jamal Charles. Barring any of the motherfucking injuries. Ooh, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. By the way, Kareem Hunt, he was really good when he first was on the Chiefs. That video came out, unfortunately. Came back. I think he's okay. He's just not a starting running back, and that's okay. He's productive enough to be on the squad, but not necessarily in a way where it's like, okay, you got to make him a starter type shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, it's like, bro, like, niggas just kill me. It's like, motherfuckers only remember, like, I hate this fucking generation with how they talk about things. Like, everybody got a fucking recency bias. And niggas all of a sudden forget about Kobe Bryant being able to play both sides of the fucking floor. Score on 3 levels. He's inefficient. He didn't want to pass the fucking ball, you morons. Of course his field goal percentage is going to be fucked up. If I'm shooting over 4 motherfuckers every time I catch the ball because I don't want to pass because I don't trust my teammates, what the fuck you think was going to happen? Is not that motherfucking Kobe Bryant was incapable of being efficient? He was a basketball savant, you dumbasses. He didn't want to pass the motherfucking ball. That's why he took all the bad shots. That's why his efficiency and shooting percentages look a little bit off. It's not because of an inability. Is it because or a not know-how? He didn't want to pass the motherfucking ball. That's why his stats don't look that great when it comes to shooting efficiency. It's not that he could not. He was a basketball fucking savant. The fuck are we talking about? He's a basketball fucking savant. What the fuck are we talking about? Serious, what the fuck are we talking about? What are we talking about, bro? He could deal with the fuck he was. He was a fucking, he mastered basketball, dog. Mastered it. His shooting percentage don't look bad because, no, it's an inefficiency. And I have to keep it a being. It's like, as great as Josh Allen is, and it's like with Lamar Jackson, right? I think Lamar Jackson's a great quarterback. I do, from time to time, see moments where you can tell he isn't necessarily a natural good thrower of the football. And yes, I do understand that throwing the NFL ball is completely different than throwing a college. I 100% understand it. But I don't think he's a natural thrower of the football. And sometimes his mistakes, you can kind of see him from time to time. He'll still, even though I love Lamar Jackson, I think he's a great quarterback, just all around, not just on the strength of his running ability, which is, you can't deny his running ability. But when it comes to making plays on the run, being able to he's so much of a threat on the run that you think he's running the football, then it hits you with a pass. Okay? But it seems like when we talk about Lamar Jackson and his inability, and also in Lamar Jackson's defense, do he really got a number one? Zay Flowers, to me, is a poor man's version of Devontae Smith. Do he really got a number one receiver? Do he really got a motherfucker that you throw that shit up there, he gonna catch that bitch? Do he really got that? Flowers is talented. Is he a real number one? Is he I'm a top 10 wide? Is he really comparable to the likes of a Puka Nacua, a A.J. Brown at his height, a Devontae Smith, a goddamn Jackson Smith Njigba, an Amon-Ra St. Brown, Terry McLaurin when he actually has good quarterback play. Like, do we think Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, do we think he's actually comparable to those guys? I don't know. Right? So, I just don't like the disrespect that, what's the name, be getting. It be killing me. Like, it don't make no fucking sense. Like, and it's like motherfuckers want to sit up there and try to devalue Mahomes so bad. And I know why. I know why. I know the reason. And like I said, it has to do with what the cars do with each other during NASCAR. If you understand what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying. Okay? And again, I didn't want to put this theory out there, but if you've been listening to my argument and we talking for like a damn near fucking hour straight, you understand. I want to very briefly mention the Keon Anthony situation. Okay? Very briefly touch upon it, because I know bits and pieces. I don't know the whole story. Here's what I will say. Keon Anthony obviously was wrong for stabbing that kid. But with that, first off, rest in peace. I don't remember the other kid's name, and I apologize. Let me look up that. What's the name? Because I was about to say, nah, I ain't about to look it up, but let me respect all the parties involved. You know what I'm saying? What's the other guy's name? Because I keep getting Keon Anthony, Carmelo Anthony. His name is Austin Metcalf. Okay. I want to say this. Okay? Let me tell you something right now. I'm going to speak from personal experience. Some of y'all say this is self-snitching, but it's not, because ain't nobody got, I didn't kill nobody. Thank God. Thank God. So I'm going to admit something. So I was bullied before. And at one point in time, I got tired of it. We had this old-ass substitute, and it was funny as hell. Actually, let me not be disrespectful. We had an older gentleman who was a substitute. And it was funny as hell, because every time he'd be in the classroom, every time he'd get frustrated or whatever, it's like he didn't even have a fucking energy. And I don't blame him. He was acting, not me specifically, but everyone was acting up in class. They was like, quiet. This shit would be funny as hell. Like, I still remember to this motherfucking day. So I got tired of people. And then they had this shit where it's like, I think they had like the little motherfucking Old Spice spray, and they was just spraying people. And so I got mad. And I pulled out a bottle of bleach, and I started spraying motherfuckers. This was like, what was it, 6th, 7th grade or some shit like that? I sprayed motherfuckers with a bleach bottle. Now, as a grown man, looking back on it, that wasn't the appropriate response. Somebody spraying you with some fucking spray, not in your eye, just spraying you with some motherfucking Old Spice spray that technically is supposed to belong in your shit. It wasn't. It was either Old Spice or Axe. I think it was Axe spray. So it was Axe spray, and they sprayed on me. And I got tired. I got overwhelmed by getting bullied and shit. And I retaliated. And the way I retaliated, I did an offense that wasn't the equivalent force to what they did. So they sprayed me. They didn't do it in my eye, nothing like with my mouth, nothing like that. They just sprayed me. They had no right to do that. They still was fucking wrong. But my point is this. So they goddamn sprayed me with the motherfucking Axe spray. I come back with a fucking bottle of Lysol and I start spraying niggas. It's not funny. It's funny because it's over with, but it's not funny because but as a grown man, it took me some years to realize I went too far. Why the fuck was your response grabbing a bleach bottle? So I say that to say this. I'm not here if whatever happened, because obviously I'm not there. If whatever happened with the Keon Anthony situation, or Carmelo Anthony, situation is true, okay? This is what I will say. I am not here to defend him stabbing Miles Austin. For what I have heard, Carmelo Anthony was at a school and he was in like a tent or some shit like that. He wasn't supposed to be there. Miles Austin, the deceased, came up to him and said, hey, you ain't supposed to be here. You ain't from the school, whatever. I think, I don't know if it was like a football team or some shit like that. But he said, yo, he wasn't supposed to goddamn do that, right? But, and basically, what's the name, pulled out a knife. It was like, yo, touch me and find out. So Miles Austin went and did the worst thing you could fucking do with somebody's arm, and that's to go try to disarm them or try to physically. And I'm not trying to say that he's not a victim, because obviously you get stabbed, especially when they'll do something to that defense, but like I get it. And then he stabbed and killed him. I don't think he meant to kill him, but it was more or less like he said, yo, find out. Boom. That's what happened. This is what I will say. It's the reason why I brought up that story. I bring up the story to say this. The brain takes till about, and it's not to say that Carmelo should not be held accountable if everything is true, because I'm finding bits and pieces of the story. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it from an unbiased source. Because here's the reality situation, okay? This is the honest to God's truth. I don't want to get it from the people that are with Miles Austin, because technically some of them niggas be like supremacists. You feel what I'm saying? So I want to stay away from that. And I also don't want to go to some of the on people that's on Carmelo Anthony's side, because they'll be like, they're going to make it everything about, oh, this is another case of the black versus white thing. I don't want to get into that conversation. I don't want to be a part of that. I want to figure out what the fuck actually happened. So I'm like trying to like find source where I could watch an unbiased perspective. That way I get to understand what the fuck actually happened versus hearing it from motherfuckers who already have internal biases inside of them already. Whether it be, I don't like this people, I don't like this person because they got their color, whatever the case may be. I don't want to be a part of that shit. I'm out. I'm exit the stage left type shit. You feel me? So when it comes to that, right? This what I will say. This what I will. The fuck. This is what I will say. When we're young, we do shit out of emotion. And we don't think about the consequence of the action. Because if I'm supposed to go off of what I've already heard about it, this is one of the situations where he got attacked, and he did what made sense to him because the objective was like, yo, get this motherfucker off me. However I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And it's not to say that what he did was right, because you got an equivalent force to equivalent force, right? Somebody grabbing me, I'm not going to fucking stab, but also in the same breath, it's like, okay, in that situation, I just want him to get the fuck up off me. So he probably, he took it to a step he didn't need to do, and unfortunately, and based upon what I've read, he even said, like, he said, yo, it's no alleged, I did it. It was self-defense, I did it. So in his case, as a kid, he probably low-key panicked. He said, "Oh shit, I didn't want him to fucking die. I wanted to get him the fuck up off me." And I used what I had in that moment. This is what I will say. Number one, him getting sentenced to 35 years, as crazy as it's about to sound, that's unjust. Because you got to look at it from the perspective of, okay, this dude, his brain not fully fucking developed. What was he, 19? How old is he? $19 years old. Let me see if I still got the video. Let me see if I can finish it up. Hold on. Because I don't want to say some shit that's obviously wrong. Let's finish watching the video.
Here are 435 sales tips for you to make that sale.
Simple, huh? No.
Excuse me, sir. How old were you when you made your first million?
I'm watching Blackie Speaks report on it because I know for a fact he's going to give an unbiased. Like, he's going to report the news. Everybody else going to come with their bias. I don't want to hear y'all fucking. I want to hear on what the actual news is.
This for?
We're trying to get advice for the young.
I was watching it
After
this
Austin
morning.
was pronounced dead, hospital staff stopped treatment, and then another officer, Newton, then took possession of the clothing Austin had been wearing and maintained custody of those items until crime scene investigators took over. Officers and investigators also documented the scene at the hospital with photos, and Austin's clothing was collected as evidence. Later that afternoon, Austin's family was allowed into the room to view him. At 3:15 p.m., the transport service for the medical examiner arrived and took possession of Austin's body. The arrest report also notes that later that morning, another witness came to the Frisco Police Department lobby and said he had seen the stabbing. He was given a voluntary witness statement form and later spoke with detectives. Now, the final pages of the arrest report show how officers began separating witnesses and preserving what they could after the stabbing. And it was also noted that multiple coaches came forward. 2 coaches said they heard Carmelo confess to stabbing Austin, while other coaches said they witnessed the actual incident. So there are a bunch of people who seen what happened here as well. That's very important. So that's all the very important information from that particular day, at least based on the arrest report. Now, when you say with all that, the whole situation is just sad, right? I mean, you're talking about a high school track meet. Kids are supposed to be competing, coaches are supposed to be coaching, families are supposed to be watching from the stands. And by the end of that morning, one teenager was dead, another teenager was in handcuffs, and everybody who was there had to live with what they saw. And I think that's what makes this case so heavy. Before it became a headline, before it became a racial debate, this was a real life tragedy involving 2 teenagers, right? And one of those teenagers killed another one. That is a fact. Austin Metcalf lost his life at 17 years old. His family lost a son, a brother, and someone they clearly loved. And Carmelo Anthony, who was also 17 at the time, went from being a high school student at a track meet to being accused of murder and facing the possibility of spending the rest of his life in prison. So the outcome.
Oh, see, he did this when he was 17. Oh, that definitely. Okay.
Very permanent. And based on all the information up until this point, the entire thing seems to have escalated from a situation that should have never gotten anywhere close to that point. Now, obviously, the arrest report is not the same thing as a conviction. That's what the trial is for. Carmelo Anthony has pleaded not guilty, and his defense is expected to argue that he acted in self-defense. So what you really have here is an argument over a team tent. You have a witness saying Carmelo reached into his bag. You have witnesses saying Austin either touched, grabbed, or pushed him during the confrontation. And then you have Austin being stabbed once in the chest and later pronounced dead. So now the legal question becomes, was this self-defense or was this murder? And that's where this case gets complicated, emotional, and divisive. Now, after Carmelo Anthony was taken into custody, the story didn't stop at the stadium. That same day, Frisco police publicly identified him as the suspect. Again, he was 17 at the time, and the police said he had been charged with murder, a first-degree felony. And from that point, the public image of Carmelo Anthony became one of the biggest parts of this case. Because on one hand, you had the arrest report. You had witnesses describing a dispute under the Memorial High School tent. You had police saying Austin Metcalf was stabbed once in the chest. And you had Carmelo allegedly making statements like, I was protecting myself, and I'm not alleged, I did it. But on the other hand, Carmelo's family and supporters started presenting a different side of who he was before all this happened. They described him as a teenager with no prior criminal history, a high school student, an athlete, someone who had played football and ran track. According to reports and family representatives, he had a strong GPA, worked regular jobs, and was the oldest of 4 children. And I think this is also one of the reasons why this particular case became so complicated for people emotionally.
Work regular jobs. I'm gonna wait till I'm gonna turn my.
Because when a story like this first comes out, people naturally want to put everybody into a box. One person is a victim, one person is the suspect, one family's grieving, another family's trying to defend their son in this case, right? And legally, those roles are very real. Austin Metcalf is a teenager who lost his life. Carmelo Anthony is the teenager accused of taking it. But let's talk about Carmelo Anthony's family, right? Because they started making a lot of public statements, and they were basically saying before this case, he was not some career criminal. He was a high school student with a future. And then that aspect of this case became a very big public debate.
Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a 2-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do. We believe in the Constitution. We believe in the laws of this state, but those laws must apply to all of us, not just some of us.
I don't like it. I understand she's defending her son and she could lose her son for life. So I'm not gonna act like I can resonate with that pain. But this is what I will say. Your son just killed somebody. I shouldn't say that because we're both watching on YouTube. Your son just off somebody. Okay? So I understand where you coming from, but you also got to look at it as, if your son just off somebody, what the fuck what kind of again, I understand why you acting that's your son. You don't want to lose your son to, for the rest of his life. Right? You don't birth a child to have him go to jail for the rest of his life. That's not, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot of pain. I get it. But this is what I am saying though. It comes off insensitive because it's like your son just took somebody's motherfucking life. So how you expect people to expect people to frame it? Cause that situation don't go away. Your son just took somebody's life off a situation that didn't even need to escalate to anybody, going off. You feel what I'm saying? I'm gonna say to try to not to get demonetized here, but that's basically what it is. So when you saying what you said, I get it, I understand. Like, I don't understand, but I understand the concept. Like, okay, you about to lose your son. Your son about to go to jail for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like you about to lose his freedom. As a mother, that sure hurt. I get it. But in the same respect, if your son just off somebody, you can't just expect motherfuckers to just give you the benefit of the doubt just for the fuck. That's not how, no. Your son just off somebody, right? So that means it's like, yo, as much as it hurt, you know what I'm saying? To have something happen was like your son felt like he had to do whatever. Somebody lost their life on account of your son's actions. Period. So there's no positive framing to that. The world's not going to jump to understand. They're going to demonize your child. They're going to call your child every name in the book but a child of God. That's what's going to go down to it. Now, I'll curb my thoughts further into that, but I'm just saying it feels a little tone deaf here. I get it. I get where the emotion's coming from, but it feels tone deaf because your son just took somebody's life. We're not going to just give him the benefit of the doubt because he's your son. Does that make sense?
On April 14, 2025, Carmelo's bond was reduced from $1 million to $250,000. He was allowed to leave jail under house arrest with an ankle monitor, as long as his family could post bond. That decision caused even more reaction. Some people looked at it as a normal legal decision for a 17-year-old with no prior criminal history. Other people looked at it and felt like the system was being too lenient for someone accused of stabbing another teenager to death. And then a few days later, on April 17, Carmelo's family held a press conference to address what they described as misinformation, threats, and hateful attacks.
Whatever you think what happened between Carmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about.
We were all waiting to hear the end.
You're right. But again, you're getting tone deaf here. Your son just off somebody. Okay? Respectfully, your son just off somebody. What the fuck do you think is going to come with it? You think they're going to call your son a fucking angel? What that song the Russell? Heaven sake, you think they're going to talk like, come on now. I'm going to be honest with you. This is why you need to let your lawyer do the talking. Because now, in this way, you kind of fucking up the case. Because now motherfuckers going to look at that shit and going to be like, yo, if you not even understanding, your son just also is not a shred of remorse. So if I want to argue self-defense, I'm looking at his parents. And it's like his parents don't even give a fuck that their kid goddamn it off somebody. So now I'm trying to put certain shit together. You gotta look at it from the outside looking in. I understand that's your son, that's your seed. I get it. But like come on now.
Anthony family talk for the first time on the record. It was supposed to start at 11. 10 minutes turned into 20, then 30. The reason? Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff Metcalf, had walked in.
Who was not invited, he knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family. But he did it.
But even that moment became controversial because Austin Metcalf's father showed up unexpectedly and he was escorted out before the press conference even began.
Okay, now I have a fucking issue. I get it. He lost his son. In his mind, he probably thinking revenge. But if you know that, why the fuck was he allowed in there? Why the fuck didn't they strong arm this nigga to not allow this nigga in? Why the fuck did they allow him to come close to the people family that done off his son? That makes no fucking sense. What the fuck you think he gonna expect her to do? Shake the parent's hand and be like, you know what? Your son just off my son. But it's okay. I'll have you guys over for apple pie. And I'm not trying to make it, I know this is not a funny situation, right? But I'm just saying, what the fuck do you think he was? Nobody goes to, if somebody fucking, you know, God forbid anybody have experience with this, right? Somebody's son got off by somebody's son. You know what I would think? Oh shit, I'm gonna get revenge. I ain't gonna wait for the fucking law to do what they gonna do, right? So what the fuck you think he was going in there for? He's obviously gonna go in there to go get some type of revenge or to do something. It's not gonna be positive. It's not gonna be positive, especially not off the initial meeting. And it ain't gonna be positive. So why the fuck would they allow him to just walk right the fuck in? That right there, I have a problem with. Because now you asking for some bullshit to start. There's no fucking way he should have got that close to that fed. Absolutely the fuck not. Absolutely the fuck not. Emotions gonna get high. It's not gonna be logical. He ain't gonna come there to talk to him. He gonna come there to probably go get revenge for his son in some type of way. Whether it be causing a scene, putting hands on somebody. He probably would have tried to kill. You know what I'm saying? He would have tried to do something. Like right then and there. That should have never been a go. Right then and there.
So at that point, the case was no longer just being argued in court documents. It was being argued online. People were debating Carmelo's character. People were debating Austin's death. People were debating race. People were debating self-defense. And people were arguing whether the public support for Carmelo had gone too far. One of the biggest examples of that was the fundraiser set up for Carmelo's legal defense. Within weeks, it had raised hundreds of thousands of dollars, with reports saying it eventually passed way over $500,000. And that became another big point here. To Carmelo's supporters, the money represented support for a teenager they believed deserved a fair defense. And then to critics, it felt disturbing to see that much money raised for someone accused of killing a 17-year-old at a school event. So to a lot of people here, Carmelo was a teenager being overcharged after what they believed was self-defense. To other people, he was just a person accused of taking a young man's life and receiving way too much empathy. Now, on June 24, 2025, the case officially moved forward, and that's when Carmelo was indicted for first-degree murder and the stabbing death of Austin Metcalf. So legally, the indictment meant prosecutors believed they had enough evidence to move forward with a murder case. And from that point, the question became even bigger. Not just what happened under that tent, but whether Carmelo Anthony's claim of self-defense would hold up in court. Now, before we go deeper at this point in the video and the legal case and everything that happened after this, I think it's important to actually talk about Austin Metcalf as well, right? Because sometimes when cases like this become national stories, the person who lost their life almost becomes a name attached to a headline and they kind of get forgotten, which is something that I don't really like. It doesn't really matter where you stand on this particular case. At the end of the day, don't forget that this was a person, a young man who was very, very young who got killed here, right? He got killed here. That's not an argument of was it self-defense or murder. We'll get to that in the end. But at the same time, he was killed here. That is a fact. So Austin was 17 years old. He was a junior at Memorial High School in Frisco, Texas. He was an athlete, a football player, a track and field competitor. And according to reports, his father described him as an honor student, a natural leader, and a talented athlete. He played linebacker for Memorial High School, and by all accounts, he was someone who had a very bright future ahead of him. Austin also had a twin brother named Hunter. And keep in mind, his brother was actually there that day, right? He witnessed what happened, and reports describe how close these two brothers were. Later, after Austin's death, Hunter even accepted Austin's diploma on his behalf during the school's graduation ceremony. So when we talk about this case, at the center of the story is a 17-year-old kid who never made it home from a school event. Let's just sit with that for a second, okay? This young man had a lot more life left to live. Now, while Austin's family was grieving, Carmelo Anthony's family was also trying to control the way people saw their son. Because once this case became national news, Carmelo wasn't just being looked at as a teenager who had been arrested. He became the face of a much bigger conversation. Some people looked at the arrest report and saw someone who took another teenager's life over something that should have never escalated this far. But then his family and supporters, they're really trying to vouch for him and say that this was not who he was before that day. Now, Carmelo Anthony's murder trial is officially ongoing right now. And at the center of this trial is one question. Was this self-defense or was this murder? He's of course pleaded not guilty, and his defense is expected to argue that he acted to protect himself. Prosecutors are going to have to convince the jury that this was not justified self-defense, and what happened under that tent legally qualifies as murder. So a jury is going to have to look at the evidence and decide whether Carmelo Anthony's actions were legally justified or whether he crossed a line that cost Austin Metcalf's life. Now, we've talked about all the information now, at least from the arrest report, which is the most important accounts. And my personal opinion, I personally have a very hard time seeing this as self-defense. Because here's the thing, even if Austin touched, grabbed, or pushed him during the confrontation, we're still talking about a situation where witnesses say Carmelo reached into his bag, warned him, and then allegedly stabbed him once in the chest. To me, based on what I've seen here, that sounds like a situation that escalated way beyond what it ever needed to be. And from my perspective, I think this is just another story that shows how fast violence can take something from bad to irreversible. I don't know what was going through Carmelo's head in that moment. I don't know if this was something just emotional and just a split.
Okay, I'm gonna look a little bit at the 35-year thing, but
all you do is go to this website, and it lets you find out exactly how much you're.
Now, Carmelo Anthony has now been sentenced to 35 years in prison after being found guilty of murder and the fatal stabbing of Austin Metcalf.
All right, it's gonna be kind of weird me transitioning here. So basically, now I can talk about it. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm not gonna say that the parents is lying about, Keon being not Keon. I'm sorry about that. Carmelo Anthony being an honor student, being a football, and then all of that. That's good and all, but here's the thing, right? And I know it's a personal experience because guess what? All of us kids, we all do it, right? We show a different side with our family than we are outside. This is a fact. Let me move this up a little bit. We show a different side with our family than what we do with our parents. This is a fact. The fact that he had a knife in his backpack, or he knew how to use a knife, or he would use it to defend himself versus with fists, and he would actually use weapons. A real weapon. Go to show you he was in some deeper shit than outside of maybe what the parents knew. So, one of two things. Here we got for somebody in his family, maybe outside, whatever the case may be. He learned that shit from somebody. That don't just pop out of a kid instinct and then go goddamn get a motherfucking knife. That shit don't pop out of fucking nowhere. So, this leads me to believe, I don't know what to believe. It could be somebody in his family was teaching him the wrong fucking way and leading him down a path he shouldn't have been going in. So he learned it from an adult, or he learned that shit being in the streets. One of the two. No kid pick up a habit and say, oh, this kid touched me or whatever, and boom, boom. That's not how it works. So he learned that shit from somebody. He learned that shit from somebody. Okay? This is what I will say, though. He's overcharged for sure. I think charging a 17-year-old with a 35-year prison sentence as if his brain is fully developed without knowing the full context of backstory. Because what lesson does this teach? Outside of you not giving him this is the honest to God's truth. There's too many kids like Carmelo Anthony that do emotional dumb shit. And they, again, accountability needs to be held here. Carmelo Anthony, if I'm going to believe these reports from what I'm hearing, he was in the wrong. He unnecessarily took a life. But this is what I will say. Something in his childhood, whether it came from his own family member, whoever it may be, or it came from the streets, whatever the fuck it may be, somebody taught him a bad habit or taught him several bad habits for him to walk around with a fucking knife. It could have been that the goddamn kid just went crazy. Also, it could be one of the situations like David, You know what I'm saying? Because from what I heard, and I'm not saying David's guilty nor innocent, because I don't want to get fucking sued. You know what I'm saying? I'm just barbershop talking type shit. But my thing is this. Same shit with David. David was exposing himself to shit as a kid. See, that's why you got to watch also with your kids, because, like, Charleston White, like him, love him, whatever, that's y'all opinion. He brought up some interesting points that I like to speak about right now. Talk about getting to know your children. And this is how you get to know your children. Your children at the dinner table, nowadays, everybody's in their phone. I see 5-year-olds with damn phones in their hand. I don't give a damn if it's that big. Kids, they take their phone out their hand. Let them go explore life. They want to be on a device, make sure that shit is got leapfrog on the motherfucker. Not just like from a sticker like you put on your phone. No, a leapfrog. I mean, no internet, no Google. That's it's straight up like, yo, whatever's downloaded, whatever all of the default games are, that's what you got. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no Super Smash Brothers, ain't none of that. It's like whatever the leapfrog game, teaching you how to do multiplication tables, stuff like that. Teaching you how to spell, teaching you grammar, stuff like that. No phones. So these kids are starting to lose the natural part of the lack of development is not being able to learn our surroundings, not being able to be on a swing set and fall to some wood chips and get skinned and start crying like we just got shot. We losing the natural element of things. Because we put at it, I mean, in grocery store, department store, they be handing the kids the phone look just like this. I don't care what they got on it, Peppa Pig or whatever. I'm not giving no kid no phone. No. God will, I give me a family. I don't give my wife, my mother, my child get mad. I don't give a fuck. No phones. No phones. We're going to teach these kids how to explore, how to socialize. So, some of it, maybe it just wasn't a company. Maybe it's what he watched on TV or was allowed to watch. You never know. You don't know what these kids be consuming behind the scenes. Sometimes when you let your kid watch a little bit too much, you think you preparing them for stuff. No, you taking away their innocence. When you allow your child to just be on the phone all willy-nilly and you not checking behind them to see what they watching. You know what I'm saying? These kids watching any and everything. Public pranks going too far. People harassing people in public. It used to be a time where we used to watch Cyber Chase. Cyber Chase taught your ass math. And it was entertaining. Arthur, Reading Rainbow, Between the Lines, Bear Steve Bears taught you about manners, how to socialize. These kids ain't getting that. These kids getting a bunch of these knucklehead ass streamers that be going outside to go harass people in public. And these kids looking at it like, oh snap, he's successful, she's successful, he got money, she got money, I'm gonna do the same thing. That's what these motherfucking kids being exposed to. So as a parent, I'm not saying it's the parent's fault. Because I don't know. So I'm not gonna speak to somebody I don't know, but I'm just listing out all the possibilities. Either he was exposed to too much television as a child, it's definitely stuff he wasn't supposed to be watching, or too much willy-nilly on the phone, and you're not checking to see what he consuming, because you are what you consume. You are the company that you keep, and you are what you consume. So it could have been a combination of multiple things. Somebody taught him this bad habit. He could have picked up on it because, people start exploring things on a cell phone. And picked up some bad habits from what he watched on the cell phone. Because there's no guidance over making sure, oh snap, make sure that he doing the right thing. Social media is Pandora's box. Can't let your kids go willy-nilly just to their own devices because you don't know what they're doing outside of your presence. That's why it's important, and Charleston White spoke about this, the dinner table, no phones. How was your day? What you do in school? What you learn? How was your day is like? If the kids get annoyed, so the hell what? So the hell what? How was your day? You make any friends at school? Annoy the hell out them. Because you know what? It is better to annoy the hell out of them at a dinner table than to sit up there to be talking across a fucking glass. If you catch my drift. Annoy the shit out. If your kids call you annoying, that means you're doing a good ass job as your parent. I'm gonna say this one more motherfucking time. If your child call you annoying, you are doing your job as a parent. He too strict. Good. Good. Because what you doing is, without you even realizing it in that moment, or maybe you do, you saving that child life. You can't go outside any type of way, do what you want to do. No. I gotta know who you hanging with. Yeah, I want to meet his parents. Yeah, I want to meet that kid. I want to talk to that kid. No, you can't stay past curfew. No, you can't stay past 11, 12, midnight. No, you got to take your ass home. When the street lights come on, take your ass home. You got to do this. You got to do it. I'd rather be disciplined by my parents than to be disciplined by a correctional officer. Does that make sense? So, you have to annoy your kids. Not to say that you can't let them live their life, but you have to be aware of what's going on. It's not just enough to say, I go to work and I feed my child and my child is provided for. That's half the battle. The other half is you got to know what your child is like, what's going on in their minds, how they think, how they communicate, how they talk, how they walk, how they process things. The only way you do that, you take these motherfuckers away and you go talk to your child. And I'm not saying that that's what happened here, but I'm saying that this story is all too familiar because like I said, he picked up the habit from somewhere or someone or a combination of both. This shit did just happen random out the blue. A kid don't walk around with a knife in his bag. Something had to happen in between from what the parents see and what the parents don't see in order for a kid to think he has to have a knife in his bag to defend himself, or he has to use a knife to defend himself instead of the good old fisticuffs like John Witherspoon, God rest his soul. You win some, you lose some. His thought process was, let me go grab a knife. You feel what I'm saying? That's a problem. That is a fucking problem. You understand? With that being said, he got over sentenced. This doesn't do anything but just take somebody else's life. And it's not fair because the man was only 17 years old. So, again, he should be held accountable and punished for his actions. I do agree with that. But on the flip side, let's not throw his life away. Let's figure out a way to punish him. And I know what the argument's going to say. The argument is this. Well, he got his life taken away. Miles Austin got Austin Metcalf got his life taken away. He's not able to rehabilitate. He's dead. You know what I'm saying? He can't, he's done. Like his future over with. He can't go redeem himself. So why should he get the same treatment? Because you never know. And I like to think about it like this. His story, if you give that young man a chance to rehabilitate himself versus throwing away the key, I am not saying he should not be punished. He definitely should. He should be punished for his actions. He should understand that when you do things like that, there are consequences. He should be punished. 100%. I'm not saying that. But there needs to be room for rehabilitation. Because what we're doing is we're setting the same fucking precedent over and over again without addressing why the fuck are things like this taking place. Things like this taking place because parents let their kids do whatever the fuck they want to do with this and not supervising their ass. Not annoying them and peppering them with questions. You have to annoy your child. You annoy your child, you save your child's life. That is a fact. If your kid calls you annoying, you never let me do anything, you're too strict, that is good. Because it's better to be involved in their fucking lives than to have a fucking correctional officer be involved in their fucking life. How about that? Does that make sense? With that said, take these shits out these fucking kids' phones. Let them go outside on the monkey bars, let them go outside on the swing sets, on the slides, play around the trampoline, talk to other kids. You know what I'm saying? Go fight over a toy. Go cry over a toy. Let them skin their leg and fall off something and start crying. This is a part of a human being evolving the right way. Messing up and learning from those mistakes. Talking to other people. Getting to know other people by simply socializing. These are skills that we are losing as a society. Both the young ones and the adults will be passing this shit down to our children. All because of fucking these. We got to gauge the family members that we have around our children. Because some of these motherfuckers ain't no good. Just because they blood don't mean they should be around your children. Some of your uncles got bad habits. Some of your aunties got bad habits. Some of these parents ain't shit. You don't know. But if, as a parent, if you know you're doing a good job, you need to gauge on who the fuck your kid's around. Whether that be his peers or whether that be some of your family members that you don't want to admit is fucked up, but they are. And they don't need to be around your child. So, we got to take all this into consideration. So, my thing is this. When you give a kid like Carmelo Anthony a chance to redeem himself, he could learn from his mistake with his punishment, have a chance to be rehabilitated, and guess what? If you care enough to see this young man grow and develop, he's going to look at his situation, he's going to tell his story. And his story is so much related to other people's. Some kids don't have a 2-parent household. Some kids don't have clean clothes. Some kids got holes in their clothes. Some kids don't have the basic necessities to survive. Some kids got abusive parents, alcoholic parents. It's so many people like Carmelo Anthony. I'm not saying this his parents are alcoholics. I'm just saying in general, there's so many kids like Carmelo Anthony and his situation's worser that Carmelo could utilize his story and what he learned from. When you give him a chance, when you give a young man a chance to rehabilitate, instead of saying a young kid made a dumb, impulsive, emotional decision, that his brain was not fully developed, and he picked up a habit from somewhere else. This is not a 30-year-old man. We talk about a 17-year-old kid who made a stupid decision, a very dumb, bad decision, out of emotion, and unfortunately took somebody else's son. So you give him an opportunity to rehabilitate himself. You don't sit up there and you throw away another child because you keep throwing away. It's like this, right? I'll put it to you like this. Okay, I'll give you a perfect example. It's not even about related to this. Let's just say I bring perishable items from the store at home and I keep leaving them out. You know what? You know what you're gonna have to do eventually? You gotta throw them shits in the trash. So I keep throwing shit in the trash, and I'm like, damn, I'm losing money. Why the hell I gotta keep throwing food in the trash? Well, you address the root problem. What is the root problem? You don't put the motherfuckers in the refrigerator like you're supposed to. So that's the root problem. In this case, the root problem is the content he's consuming, whether it's social media, YouTube, or wherever else he's looking at, the content he's consuming, the people he's around, whether it's family members who have bad habits, or it's his friends who ain't no good, and he might be coming across some very ignorant that you don't know. You don't know. But to throw this kid's life away, even though he made a bad decision, and again, I mean this wholeheartedly, he needs to be punished for this. But you don't take away his ability to rehabilitate himself. Because his story, if he learns from it, and you got people who are dedicated to figure out, okay, why did this happen? This kid not just evil. Kids don't just wake up evil. They don't do that. All alleged. If David allegedly did what the fuck he did, niggas don't walk around doing shit the way David allegedly did what the fuck he did. They don't just wake up doing that shit. Something happened in between that. And it ain't to say if David did what the fuck he did, he don't deserve to be punished. Like, lock his ass up. Because that nigga was old enough. It ain't like this situation right here where you got an emotional ass teenager who picked up some bad habits. That's different. That motherfucker is off his rocker. And he need a lot of, you need to take that nigga off the street. That nigga, like if David allegedly did what the fuck he did, take that motherfucker off the street. He don't need to be around people. You need to figure out what the fuck going on in this nigga head, and you need to keep his ass away from people right now. You need to lock his ass up. They're different from an emotional ass teenager who picked up a bad habit. Again, it don't make either of them two right. If the alleged is David and then whatever, it don't make it right. But what I'm saying is, if we talk about two different scenarios, one motherfucker is just like they shit is gone. Gone. They soul is gone. They don't have no compassion, no nothing. They shit is gone. You gotta keep motherfuckers away from people because there's something behind that. You gotta, in order for them to let them have freedom, them niggas is dangerous. Like niggas like, if David did what he allegedly did, niggas like him are dangerous. They can't walk the free world. You gotta lock their ass up for as long as possible until you are 100%, not fucking preponderance of evidence beyond beyond reasonable doubt to everybody jury. What I'm saying is not a preponderance of evidence. No, you gotta be 100% sure this motherfucker rehabilitated. So you gotta keep this nigga, baby, even longer than what you would generally think. If David did what the fuck he did, keep this nigga locked up for as long as possible. Because that's not some shit you could just affix overnight. You know what I'm saying? But I look at it like this. For this kid, this is an emotional ass teenager who did some stupid ass shit. Who didn't know no better. Thank God in my situation, all I did was just spray bleach on somebody's skin. So ain't nobody died, ain't nobody lost their life, nothing. As a kid doing, I was like, what, 14, 15 years old. Because all I knew in my head at that time was, I'm getting bullied and I'm tired of it. Not in, let me go get the proportion defense. Like, if somebody take my pencil, I'm not going to pume. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not an equivalent force. As a child, you don't know it. As a child, all you know is, I'm hurt, something happened to me. You know what I mean? Now, for Austin, situational awareness is important. If I'm going to and by the way, rest in peace to him, okay? Rest in peace, condolences to the family. But if I'm to believe what I've heard, okay? If somebody got what's the name? Stay the fuck away from them. Don't go up to them thinking, I know you play football, you strong as hell, so the other dude, but I know you play football and all, but you ain't Superman, goddammit. You see somebody pull out some shit, get the fuck away. Go call an adult. Get the fuck out of there fast. I don't give a fuck what kind of kung fu movie you watch. I don't give a damn if you got finished listing this goddamn 36 Chambers by motherfucking Wu-Tang. You see a motherfucker with a knife? Get the fuck. I don't give a fuck if you watch all the Ip Mans consecutively. It didn't move from the fucking spot. You know what I'm saying? And fucking fast and didn't eat shit. Do not go approach somebody with a fucking knife. That's the worst thing you can do. You can't beat everybody. Yeah, on the football field, you might be whatever, but somebody presenting what's the name to you, you got to get the fuck up out of there. Ain't nothing wrong with running. Niggas will tell you not to. No, run. Run, Forrest, run. Get the fuck up out of there. Because at the end of the day, it's like, bro, you know I was supposed to catch up on training camp shit. I ain't catching up to nothing. I got to watch all the videos at home and shit. And then I kind of report to y'all what I kind of been paying attention to, whatever. But this is my thing right here, right? Situational awareness. Hey, by the way, also, get an adult. Get an adult. If you got somebody you don't know and somebody attempt, you need to get an adult. I don't know why they didn't cross you. I get it. You a leader. You know, they put a C on your chest, like respect, but you need to get an adult. I don't know where the thought process was in him trying to disarm somebody. Because you're strong and you play football, it doesn't necessarily translate. They'll make you bulletproof or whatever. Like, you don't, no. And he's a young kid, too. So sometimes we just react. We think you know what I'm saying? We feeling ourselves, we got the weights and everything. Whatever. But sometimes it's like, yo, it's so different. Again, it's both sides to this shit. It's like on Miles Austin's side, it's like, or Austin Metcalf, sorry. Situational awareness. So somebody got a knife, bro. I don't care what type of karate I know. I don't give a damn. If Michael J. White taught me everything I know, and I'll whoop that nigga ass in sparring. That will never happen. But I'd be able to say that me and him was like doing the fucking Rocky and Apollo shit, and they painted us together, and then we throwing a punch, I'm throwing a punch, and then like they fucking made a canvas and shit. I don't give a fuck if Michael J. White taught me everything I know. Somebody got a pune, somebody got a knife, nigga, it's game time. You got it, brother. I don't give a fuck. If I was actually in the right, you got it. Hey, what the fuck you say to me? You know what? I don't even remember. I think I got early onset Alzheimer's. I just be forgetting a lot of shit. You know, at one point in time, they showed the Alzheimer's type of beer. Turns out my doctor diagnosed it. I just wasn't listening to him. You have a good day, brother or sister. You have a blessed day. You know what I'm saying? Just live another day. But sometimes kids don't think like that. Kids think that, whatever, I'm play football, whatever. I'm a leader. What? And ego gets in the way. See, adults, we understand. And sometimes we deal with a crash out. Even if you right, leave that nigga alone. You deal with a motherfucker who don't give a fuck about their life, leave him alone. Don't argue with a nigga. Don't sit up there, like when nigga talk crazy, he got that thing on him, pause. Like, leave his ass alone. Grown motherfuckers understand this shit. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, like, bro, that also the thing too. But that young man should have got an adult. And I'm not saying everything could be prevented, but I think it could have went a different. If he went up to an adult and said, hey, this kid, if he don't go to the school, whatever, he in our tent, I think the situation would have went differently. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what I like our people to stop doing, okay? And it's the honest to God's truth, because two things could exist at once. This young man was over sentenced. And too many of our times, kids in the black community get thrown out because they're problem child, not understanding the full backstory of what happened. Some kids got fucked up family members. Some kids' parents fucked up. They ain't got food. They got holes in their clothes. You don't know. Environments be fucked up. And you throwing away children because they made a bad mistake. This happens too often to our children that's grown up in impoverished areas that's of the black community. It's like it's the same fucking cycle over and over again. Instead of addressing the problem of making sure these kids is fed, making sure these kids know that they're loved, making sure there's a male role model in the house if they don't have one, making sure that these kids are in the environment, they're not surrounded by all the nonsense that happen, the gangs, the D-Rugs, you know what I'm saying? All that shit. You gotta... There's more to the story outside of this kid's a problem child. No, let's figure out why the fuck it is. Oh, they parents fucked up. So they didn't have a chance to get. They parents, they mentally fucked up. They up there taking D-Rugs and everything. Like, you don't know this. And it's like so many, society's so ready to throw a problematic black kid from the impoverished area because we think that, oh, they're evil. No, it's like, yo, let's uncover the story a little bit more. Okay? Let's actually understand they're just kids whose brains not fully developed, who's just reacting off of trying to survive. Like every other human does. So I get the outrage with the over-sentencing. But one thing about our people, our black community, we got to learn how to take accountability for when we do wrong. And not try to bring what NASCAR do, which if you understand what I'm saying, not try to bring that shit into every motherfucking, not every conversation is about right. Sometimes it's right and wrong. Sometimes, hey, you're obnoxious. You difficult. It is what it is. Sometimes you ain't a post person, right? Sometimes it's like you think that, oh, they won't let me in because I'm blackballed. I won't sell my soul. No, you just an asshole. You just an asshole. It is what it is. And some of our people don't want to accept accountability. We always want to blame it on they talk about the colonizers and shit. No, you just a problematic motherfucker. You just an untrustworthy motherfucker. You got a bad attitude. You hard to deal with. You hard to talk to. You hard-headed a motherfucker. You stubborn. You think you know every motherfucking thing. I don't want to be around you. Nigga, we the same race. I don't want to talk to you. Like, leave me the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying? Because you got character flaws. Sometimes some of our people don't know how to take accountability. And understand that everything's about rise. And sometimes you just you got some bad character flaws, and you need to clean that shit up if you want success. You need to look at that motherfucker in the mirror. It's not the colonizer. It ain't George Washington motherfucking ghost. It ain't Thomas Jefferson that rose up because you heard about what the state of Virginia was actually about. nigga, it's your ass. And you need to accept accountability. So our people need to understand, like, we've been treated so badly for so long that sometimes it's like we just kind of get caught up in, like I say, like the Stockholm syndrome. Like we start to become helpless. It's like sometimes it's like, yo, you are a problem. Your attitude is a problem. How you carry yourself is a problem. You argue, you're combative about every fucking thing. You are a problem. But we can also say in the same breath that our young men and our young black children get thrown away so easily. Now understand that the ones that grow up in impoverished areas, like any other kid of any other race, they're going to act out because they're trying to survive. You're asking the kid to hold all these fucking responsibilities. This kid had a job. And I think I heard the word plural in jobs. Okay? He had a job. He had to play football. He had to get his grades up. All this fucking pressure. You don't know. You don't know what it does to somebody's brain having to deal with all that shit. You feel me? So, our people got to start learning how to understand that, yes, when things are unjust, we got to call that shit out. And we got to be unified on that together. But on the other end, when we in the wrong, and we're not doing what I'm supposed to do, we're not doing everything we can to be pleasant toward other people, we got to take accountability for our actions. Not just blame it on the fucking colonizer, not blaming it on we ain't a part of the Illuminati or colorism or none of that shit. No, sometimes we just a difficult motherfucker. Sometimes you lazy, you want everybody to do some shit for you. Sometimes you are not in a mentality, nor do your actions justify you obtaining success. And you gotta take accountability for that. It's not the colonizer, it's your motherfucking fault. Okay? That's true. And I see Anton Daniels short where this man was like, yo, I'm not gonna apologize for, like, it was this Caucasian man. He's like, I ain't gonna apologize for something I didn't do. You know what I'm saying? I didn't slay, like, you know what I'm saying? And he brought up some good points, and I agree with him. And I think so many of our some black people, like they want to goddamn blame somebody, a person of Caucasian descent that ain't got shit to do with anything. They not on no ignorant time. They just existed, and they want people to like a Caucasian person or somebody of a race that's doing R&B. Yes, culture stealing is real. They use us until they don't need us. They don't give us our credit. It's real, 100%. Let's call that shit out. But in the same breath, let's not try to point an accusing finger at every motherfucking Caucasian person decided, like, I did hip-hop, I did R&B, I did neo-soul, now I don't want to do it, I want to do something else. Let's not try to act like they goddamn pew-pew somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's not that serious. It's not that serious. Stop acting like they got to be held accountable for shit that they personally did not do. You know what I'm saying? So, this is a multi-layered conversation. I don't have time to get to none of that shit, but I talked for 2 fucking hours straight. Whatever. It's been all time since we goddamn streamed. It was a little bit of a heavy subject. I don't think we would have been able to transition properly to the training camp. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give myself a homework assignment. I'm going to catch up on training camp. The next time it will stream is Tuesday. I'll see y'all Tuesday. I'll report on what I know. And we might just react to some Cameron Suzanne shit. And then I'll get back on piano starting Wednesday. That's all I got to say, y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, rest of y'all weekend, whatever the fuck is left of it. And I'm out of here. Peace! Ah!